My fiancée ghosted me a week before the wedding, so I sold the ring. Imagine planning your dream wedding only for your fiancé to vanish days before. Get ready for a shocking story of betrayal and unexpected consequences. Hi, I'm Ethan, 32, and just a few weeks ago, I was about to become a husband. Now I'm just 32, with a stack of cancellation receipts. It all started 8 days before the wedding. My fiancée, Chloe, 29, was supposed to meet me. We had a final venue meeting the next morning. Last minute stuff like table placements and meal counts. She never showed up. At 7 o'clock p.m., I texted her. No reply. By 8 o'clock p.m., I called, and it went straight to voicemail. Odd. Her phone was usually surgically attached to her hand. At 9 o'clock p.m., that gut-wrenching knot started forming in my stomach. I called again, voicemail. I tried her sister Sarah. She hadn't heard from Chloe. Then I called her parents. The same panic in their voices. By midnight, I was frantic. I called friends. I even drove past her apartment. It was dark, and her car was gone. This wasn't Chloe. She was a planner and an over-communicator. For her to just vanish was unthinkable. The next 24 hours were a blur of terror. Hospitals, a missing persons report. It all felt surreal. Her family was a wreck. I was torn between fearing that something awful had happened to her and a creeping dread of a more personal betrayal. On day 3, the police found her safe. She was staying with an old college friend, Maya, 3 hours away. Relief washed over me, immediately followed by a cold, sharp feeling of utter disbelief. What on earth? She was fine and had told no one. Not me, not her family. The police said she wouldn't speak to me. No reason for her departure, just that she was safe and needed space. Needed space? A week before our wedding? My brain just froze. The fear and grief morphed into something icy. No note, no text, no email. After 5 years together, after planning a life, after picking out those darn floral centerpieces, there was just silence. So I started making calls. The venue, I lost the $5,000 deposit. The caterer, another $3,500 gone. The photographer was sympathetic, but bye-bye to $2,000. And then there was the florist, the DJ, the cake, the honeymoon flights, the non-refundable resort. Each call was like a hammer tap, chipping away at our future. The financial hit from these deposits, which I had personally paid or was immediately liable for, was significant, around $15,000. Her parents had paid for her dress separately, and were supposed to cover the bulk of the flower costs directly with the florist later. But the initial booking deposit for the flowers had come out of my account. The hardest calls were to family and friends. The wedding's off. The shock, the unanswerable questions. It was humiliating. My mom cried. My dad just kept asking, "Son, what on earth happened?" I wish I knew. Then there was the ring, a 1.5 carat cushion cut, vintage inspired. Her dream ring. It cost me over $13,000. I took it to a reputable jeweler and got $7,800 for it. Less than I'd hoped, but more than I'd feared. That money went straight into my account. A partial offset against the $15,000 in direct losses I'd already incurred from non-refundable deposits and commitments. It barely scratched the surface of the financial damage, but it was something. I packed every single thing of hers in my apartment. Photos, clothes, that silly carnival teddy bear, boxed, labeled, and ready for her eventual reappearance. It's been 5 days since I found out she was fine, and still no word. She ghosted her own wedding. She ghosted me. The anger is a cold lump, but mostly I feel clear. How do you come back from this? You don't. I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. People don't do this without a follow-up act. Well, the other shoe didn't just drop. It practically kicked me last Tuesday. I'm a project manager for a construction company. I was in the middle of a meeting with a client when my colleague Daniel poked his head in. "Ethan, sorry. Visitor says it's urgent." I excused myself, annoyed. I walked to reception, and there she was. Chloe. She looked like she'd cried for a week. Puffy eyes, messy hair. A world away from the woman I was supposed to marry. My first thought was, seriously? Here? My workplace? "Ethan," she said, her voice thick, and tried to step forward for a hug. I stepped back. Chloe, what are you doing here? I asked in a low voice. Daniel, at the desk, suddenly looked very busy. We need to talk, she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. Please, it's all been a horrible mistake. A mistake? I said flatly. Ghosting me and your family a week before our wedding? Refusing contact? That's a mistake. I know. I freaked out. I was scared. Maya said some things. I just panicked. Maya, her free spirit friend who always thought Chloe was too good for me, right? So you ran off? No word for 3 weeks. And now you've decided you didn't know how to face me? You were ashamed? Chloe, I still love you. I want to fix this. She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. Fix this? Disbelief. Chloe, there's nothing to fix. It's done. I canceled everything. The wedding's off permanently. Her face crumpled. No! You can't mean that. We can rebook. Tell everyone I had a family emergency. A health scare. Smooth it over. The sheer entitlement was stunning. Smooth it over? Like a spilled drink, not a life detonation. Chloe, I sold the ring. That stopped her. Her jaw dropped. You what? Sold it. As I said, I lost over $15,000 in non-refundable deposits. The $7,800 from the ring barely made a dent, but it was necessary. You sold my ring? Her voice rose. That was my ring! My grandmother's setting was the inspiration. How could you? Okay, now anger. Your ring? I bought it for a wedding you abandoned. A symbol of a commitment you spat on. Inspiration doesn't make it an heirloom when I paid for it. But the money, she sputtered. What about it? I asked, calm. It partially covered the venue, caterer, honeymoon. Consequences of your actions, which still left me massively out of pocket. She stared. You have to give it to me. That money is partly mine. We were getting married. Were, I corrected. Past tense. No, I don't have to do anything except protect myself from further damage. My boss, Mr. Thompson, stern but fair, walked out, drawn by her voice. He glanced at Chloe, then me, his eyebrow raised. Everything all right, Ethan? Personal matter, Mr. Thompson, being resolved, I said, giving Chloe a get-out look. Chloe appealed to him. He sold my engagement ring, canceled our wedding without talking to me, she wailed. Mr. Thompson looked uncomfortable. Ma'am, this is a business. I cut in. Chloe, this is inappropriate. Leave now. But Ethan, our families, the deposits my parents paid. Your parents paid for your dress, which I assume you still have. They were supposed to pay the florist the remaining balance directly, but they hadn't. When I canceled the florist contract, I got stuck with their $400 cancellation fee because I made the initial booking. That fee added to my already huge losses. Losses the ring money only fractionally covered. I have receipts for everything. You can discuss those charges with your parents. She looked slapped, ugly, crying now. You're so cruel, cold. I made a mistake. Don't I deserve compassion? Compassion. Ice in my voice. I used that up wondering if you were dead in a ditch. You want compassion? Start with an actual apology, an explanation that isn't blaming your friend. And don't cost me at my job demanding money from a ring you forfeited when you fled, especially when I'm still dealing with the financial fallout you caused, including bills your parents should have paid. I dislike you intensely, she screamed. Colleagues were staring. My cheeks burned, but my resolve hardened. Feelings were becoming mutual. Security can show you out. She glared venomously, spun, and stormed out, nearly tripping over a plant. Mr. Thompson said, Well, that was a lot. You okay, son? Peachy. But I was shaking, not from fear, but from her audacity. She didn't just want forgiveness. She wanted an eraser, expecting me to foot the bill. Later, her mother, Helen, called. Oh, joy. Another update. Helen, Chloe's mom, always concerned with appearances, polite but judgmental. Her call came a few hours after Chloe's office flameout. Ethan, dear, she began, false sweetness dripping. Chloe is beside herself, distraught. I can imagine, I said dryly. Screaming in someone's workplace is tiring. A sharp intake of breath. No need for sarcasm. The poor girl made a mistake. A big one, yes. Her father and I are deeply disappointed, but she's realized her error, wants to make amends. Her amends involve demanding I reinstate a canceled wedding and give her money from a ring I sold to partially cover her mess. A mess that still left me thousands in debt. That's delusion, Helen. She was upset about the ring, naturally, Helen said, glossing over it. Sentimental value, the design. The design she picked from a catalog. Sentiment was in the commitment she abandoned. Ethan, Helen's voice firmed, this isn't just about feelings. There are considerable costs. We paid for her expensive dress, and we'd given you two a substantial monetary gift for your honeymoon, $5,000. Given the wedding was off by my hand with the cancellations, I almost laughed. Hold on, Helen. The wedding's off because Chloe vanished, causing me emotional distress and massive financial loss. I canceled because the bride was MIA. Your $5,000 gift went into our joint wedding fund spreadsheet. It clearly shows allocation to the non-refundable Maldives resort Chloe insisted on. I have bank statements and payment confirmations. Want them? Silence. Then, it's improper for you to have kept that money. Improper? I was quite annoyed now. What's improper is your daughter vanishing, leaving me with pieces and bills. That $5,000 covered 2/3 of the lost honeymoon. I absorbed the rest, plus all other deposits I'd made. The ring money only partly offset my initial losses. It didn't make me whole. Itemizing what? She asked when I mentioned my next step. You and Robert, her dad, were to pay the florist the outstanding balance of $2,800 directly. Remember? You hadn't. When I had to cancel the entire florist contract because the wedding was off, the florist charged a 50% cancellation fee on that total, which amounted to $400. Since I made the initial booking and paid the small deposit, I was legally on the hook for that $400 cancellation fee when you didn't pay your share. I had to cover it, adding further to my significant personal losses from this whole fiasco. Outrageous! You're trying to extort us. No, Helen. My voice was calm, dangerous, stating facts. Chloe's actions led to these costs. The ring money only softened the blow of my own direct losses. Your $5,000 gift went to the honeymoon we never took. Now, on top of all that, I also had to cover the florist cancellation fee that arose entirely because you and Robert didn't fulfill your commitment to the florist before Chloe disappeared. There is no profit for me, only a massive headache and a broken engagement that's cost me a fortune. Sputtering. Chloe said you were cold. She was right, after all she's been through. All she's been through? Helen, what about me? Our families, friends, the worry. Canceled plans, embarrassment. She just got scared. Young girls do these things. She's 29, Helen, not 19. Decent people don't do these things. They communicate. Take responsibility. This went on. Her astounding entitlement. She genuinely believed that because Chloe was sorry, a sorry I hadn't heard meaningfully, all burdens should vanish or be mine. She even suggested I apologize to Chloe for selling her ring and for not being understanding at my job. Enough. Helen, listen. I'm done. I'm sending you, Robert, and Chloe an itemized list of all wedding-related expenses that I managed or was left financially responsible for. This includes payments I made, deposits I lost, and liabilities I had to cover when others defaulted, like your florist bill. It will clearly show by whom these costs were originally contractually owed or who caused the loss. It will demonstrate that no one's profiting, least of all me, and will clearly state the $400 florist bill I covered on your behalf. Reimburse me for that $400 or not. Your choice. But further demands or harassment will get a cease and desist from an attorney. Clear? Then quiet. Then a click. You wouldn't dare try me. She hung up. My hands were shaking. It wasn't pleasant, but the rage was a clean fire. They thought they could bully me into paying for Chloe's enormous mistake. The next day, I did it. A meticulous spreadsheet, every vendor for shared items, every deposit I paid, dates, scanned receipts, highlighted the florist cancellation fee I was forced to cover. I attached proof of the ring sale and how that only partially offset my own initial list of losses. 3 copies, registered mail, return receipt, for Chloe, for her parents, then the fun. Chloe wasn't just staying with Maya. After Chloe's office stunt, I heard via the grapevine from Maya venting that she apparently told Chloe to own her stuff or leave. So Chloe was back with her parents. My spreadsheet landed mid-reunion. A text from Sarah, Chloe's sister, came days later. Ethan, Mom and Dad got your documents. And Chloe, WW3 here. Just wanted to say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve it. I replied, Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate that. The revenge wasn't vindictive. It was clarity, consequences. They wanted to muddy the waters, make me the bad guy. The spreadsheet was my factual weapon. I heard Chloe tried spinning a story to mutual friends about me getting cold feet, being controlling, and how she had to escape. After her job meltdown, it was pure audacity, but my calm explanation. Her public meltdown, it contrasted sharply. People talked, not kindly about her. Her victim narrative backfired, especially when her financial demands leaked, likely via Helen. The fallout was simple. Her actions, her consequences. No drama, just paperwork and truth. Still no florist fee reimbursement. Don't expect it, but they know. And they know their demands are baseless, because my documentation clearly shows I was left holding the bag for their portion too. Small victory. It's been a while. Life, annoyingly, just keeps going. After I sent that registered mail of financial truth, the initial explosion, according to Sarah, settled into silence. Blessed, golden silence. No more calls from Helen. No tearful, manipulative ambushes from Chloe. No angry emails from Robert, her dad, who I always figured was quietly baffled by his family. Anyway, I didn't get the full fund $400 for the florist cancellation. The part her parents should have paid. Knew I wouldn't. Prying money from a self-righteous Helen is like trying to baptize a cat. The principle was asserted. The spreadsheet detailed my complete financial burden, including covering their lapse. What I did get was a gem from Sarah about a month ago. We'd kept sporadic, cautious contact. Ethan, you are not going to believe this, or maybe you will. Chloe tried to get Mom and Dad to pay for a healing retreat for trauma from the wedding cancellation. Cost a few thousand, I replied. And did they? Dad actually said no flat out, said her healing could start with getting a job and paying back the deposits they did lose on her dress alterations and a few other bits they prepaid for directly. Things that weren't even on your list of shared financial responsibilities you had to settle. Mom gave Dad the silent treatment. Chloe threw a hysterical circus. That right there was better than any $400, entitlement hitting a family brick wall. Robert finding his voice, good on him. And Sarah's clarification confirmed my spreadsheet correctly focused on my direct and consequential losses. Chloe, from what Sarah and others say, isn't thriving. Her victim plan crumbled. The workplace stunt made her look unhinged. Her bad-mouthing of me was clumsy, easily refuted. Many former mutuals saw her behavior. Some offered me support, others faded. Understandable. Friendship calls happen. She's apparently still with her parents. Job hunt, not going well. Anything she's qualified for is beneath her after her trauma. The world isn't bending to her narrative. The artifact of this mess for me is that spreadsheet. Saved not for money, but as a reminder. Strategy, not just emotion, works. A line in the sand armed with facts about the financial burdens I was forced to carry. As for me, the first month was rough. Not just anger, but sheer bafflement. The why. I'll probably never get a satisfying answer. People like that rarely make sense to anyone but themselves. But the clarity from my first post stuck, like a filter removed. I see people more clearly. I sold our old couch, bought a new one just for me, reclaimed my space. I go to the gym more regularly. Great stress relief. Reconnected with neglected friends. Works good. Mr. Thompson actually gave a nod of respect after the incident. Handled that like a professional, Ethan. Small things matter. Dating? Definitely not. Not yet. Trust feels daunting, but not bitter. I'm trying not to be. Focusing on myself, career, friendships, healing, I guess. My way. No fancy retreat needed. Sometimes late at night, a flicker of old hurt, betrayal, the imagined future. but it passes quicker, replaced by quiet satisfaction. Not loud victory, but calm assurance. I handled an impossible situation with dignity and strength. I didn't let her destroy me, my finances, or my reputation. She faced consequences, natural ones. No over the top revenge, just steady fallout from a terrible choice. That feels more real, more satisfying than any drama. She made her bed. Now she's lying in it with her parents complaining. I'm sleeping just fine. This story proves that walking away from a toxic situation, armed with facts, is the ultimate power move. If you agree, hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments. And for more epic tales of revenge and relationships, check out our Sweet Revenge playlist.